problem is we don't know how to listen. We got to stop, turn off the chatter, and just listen.
Coming back with an excited people. He's coming back for a people that are looking for him to come, and yet living every day as if he's not coming, and we need to bring more into the kingdom.
As a fivefold prophet, part of the call is to call everyone up to God's standard, is to remind people God has a standard, and it's in love. But this is what's going to bring life, reframe, especially in this nation, because anybody that leads a church is called pastor. And so with that comes expectations of what that pastor looks like. But not everyone who leads a church is a pastor. Some of them are prophets. Some of them are evangelists or apostles. And so this is where we've gotten disconnect because there's expectations placed upon that leader based upon that title.
Know your identity not only in your head, you know who you are, but spend enough time with him to know that you know that you know who you are.
It's the Spirit that has to open minds. We can't. We can't try to convince someone to see something. It has to be by a spiritual revelation.
And again, that's not something we solicit, but that is something we purpose to do. That's something we purpose to host. So it's not by accident that people sense and feel the presence of God. It's something that God has called us to as a people to invite and to maintain and to understand.
Where for 40 days he was tempted by the devil, and we know he overcame. So Jesus returned to Galilee now in the power of the Spirit, and news about him spread through the whole countryside. This is why we embrace trials and temptations in the wilderness experience. We can be filled with the Spirit, but when we press in and persevere, do not quit, and we overcome, we are now filled with a greater power and a greater authority. I didn't give you authority to be a prophet. I called you as a prophet to carry the authority I've given you. Now that was very eye-opening for me because the goal was not to be a prophet. It was simply a way to carry the authority. And this is something that will mark a true prophet of God, is there is weight in their words. There's weight in what they say because it's not their own.
Written Paul the Apostle, not the Apostle Paul, but we call him Apostle Paul. And if you label, when you put letters in front of people's names, that sometimes can become their identity rather than their son or daughter in Christ.
It's for agreement and unity. If we're not careful as prophets, we believe that the message is the priority. Not always. Sometimes he will test us. He will give you a message to see, how are you going to steward this? Just be aware of that. That's where you need to walk in the fear of the Lord. Don't make the message the priority.
It's a responsibility to steward that gift. And if fivefold is a gift to the body, how is the body stewarding the fivefold? Are they just feeding off of that, or are they partnering with that and engaging with that?
And the team wants to build trust. We love each other. We care about each other. And so that takes constant communication. And this is usually where things always break down. It's lack of communication, presuming things rather than talking it out. Are you willing to submit to someone? You never get to the level where I am now the top dog. I don't have to submit to anyone. You always have to submit to somebody. So it always is in the heart of the leader.
To own the word that she was hearing, I had to then change the wording of it to be me. And I wasn't trying to soften it. I just had to be me.